Hello and welcome to another edition of WDSO's Porter County Perspective. I'm your host, Emily Fletcher, and this week I am happy to say that my guest is Wende Burbridge of Northwest Indiana's Habitat for Humanity. Thanks for being here today, Wende.
It's my pleasure.
First, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your life and what led you to where you are today?
Oh, gosh. So my name is Wende Burbridge. I am the Director of Development with Habitat for Humanity of Northwest Indiana. I have been for coming up on 5 years now, and I've been in nonprofit for well over 20 years in various organizations in the region. And gosh, I think I had a good contact at our at Habitat and with the executive director there, and she reached out. I had the pleasure of volunteering a few times at Habitat, and I loved the mission. And she asked me to come on board, so that's pretty much how that happened.
Wende, what is your title there?
Director of Development. So what that means is I'm fundraising. So a lot of times in housing development is about developing land. That's not, I get there, but it's mostly about raising funds.
Sure, mm-hmm. Okay. What would you say are some of the values of Habitat for Humanity, or maybe what would you say is the organization's mission statement?
Our mission is to bring people together to build homes, communities, and hope. And so we value the impact that having a safe, affordable home has on families and on their neighborhoods and on their communities. Affordable housing is transformative in that it ensures your kids have a place to do their homework every night, go to sleep every night, get a meal. It ensures that you know how you're getting to work the next day, how your kids are getting to school the next day. A lot of the chaos that some families do feel without having a stable home are impacted negatively in those ways. So that we value home ownership in that it creates opportunities for families to grow and not only just be stable, but to grow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of the organization?
So Habitat for Humanity of Northwest Indiana serves Lake County. It's a little confusing, I know, but that's our name. We serve all of Lake County, and we were established in 1986 by a Reverend Doug Rogers. He was with Westminster Presbyterian Church, currently located in Munster, and he started the organization. He was inspired by Mr. Fuller, and actually when they started the organization back then had invited him out. So that individual, Mr. Fuller, started Habitat for Humanity International. And talk about grassroots organization. That's where it started in 10 years before our affiliate was begun. And Reverend Rogers was definitely inspired and saw the value and the need. He just built it up slowly but surely. And we may be building 1 or 2 homes a year. And now we're looking at building 6 homes the last couple of years, each year. So we're at having served 150 families in that time. So he did a really great thing and transformed a lot of lives for generations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you talk about some of the other staff members for Habitat for Humanity of Northwest Indiana?
Absolutely. So we're a small organization. We have an executive director, Dawn Michaels. She's been there, I'm going to say 9 or 10 years now. Myself, who there 5 years. We have a construction manager, Jeff Fremantle, and he's fairly new. He joined us last year in August. We have a relations manager, Kim Kreischeld, and she joined us in March or April of last year. That is a new position for us, engaging with the faith community. We have a volunteer coordinator. We're kind of in between coordinators right now. So that is an opportunity for anybody who's interested. And an accountant. We have who does accounting things. We have a scheduler who does organizes and schedules donation pickups for our Habitat Restore. Our Restore is a social enterprise, so it's a retail organization. One way that we fundraise.
Where is that located?
That is located on Ridge Road, 614 Ridge Road in Griffith. And we just expanded there. So we have lots of awesome things to check out. And we accept donated items, mostly furniture, building repair, supply. We don't do clothes. We don't do bedding and things like that. But it's more like the hardware kind of stuff. So if you want to fix your home, put new windows in your home, put new doors in your home, you want to check the Restore to see, because we have a lot of materials there. And it's like treasure hunting. Every week is different. Every day can be different. We have a store manager who manages, I think there's 6 people there working at the store, and along with our assistant store manager. So Dan, the manager, and Felicia, the assistant manager, take care of a lot of what goes on there. And then we have a procurement manager who goes out to talk with our partners throughout the community about donating items. So, a retail store might donate things that they just aren't selling anymore or are discontinued. So we'll take that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quite a big organization. A big little organization. Yeah. Okay. So, do you have a partnership with any businesses or other organizations that give their efforts to see Habitat for Humanity succeed?
So we have a wonderful partnerships with a number of businesses throughout the region. So of course NIPSCO and Cleveland Cliffs and Strachan Hill, they're all very generous, not only to our nonprofit but to many others. So they definitely have an interest in seeing Northwest Indiana, the region, be successful and give back to the community. So most definitely, I actually talk with a number of businesses like NIPSCO, BP, Cargill, Cleveland Cliffs, all the normal expected
the
big companies. Yeah. To come out and sponsor our Women Build initiatives, our Honor Build initiatives, and I can talk more about what those are, but they support our construction through sponsorship of those initiatives. Okay. They also provide volunteers for the day, so they're helping to help us build the homes as well. Right now, we're building in Lake Station primarily, and there's 6 homes that are in various stages of construction there. And so companies, and we build with 80% volunteer labor. We do subcontract workout, obviously HVAC, electricity, plumbing, those things we're not going to have volunteers do. Sure. But everything else they do, volunteers come out, and we love our partners who send people out to help us build. They love to be part of it. They love to, sometimes they're working right alongside the families that are buying these homes that are part of the program, and they're just, it's a good feeling all the way around for them and for the families to see.
Okay, that's awesome. So how many volunteers would you say come out and help with each house?
On the average, last I looked, was about 300
Wow.
people who will volunteer on each house as it's built. It has been a little wonky since COVID, but we're really getting back to what was normal pre-COVID, and people are just definitely excited to be able to come out and spend time together, doing something good in the community. Yeah.
So who qualifies to receive services provided by Habitat?
Habitat serves families, struggling working families. They're low-income families, so earning 30 to 80% of the average median income for families in Lake County. What that means to make it relatable, a family of 4 currently in Lake County is earning about $75,000. So that's the average median income for a family of 4. Our families are earning 30 to 80% of that.
Okay.
And it is on a scale, so we follow HUD guidelines for that scale. A family could be 1. A family can be however large a family is.
Sure.
And so the dollar amount changes based on how many people are in the home, right? But to make it relatable, they're earning 30 to 80% of what an average income is. So I'm saying those are employed families that have income coming in. And we're talking, unfortunately, teachers, healthcare providers, home healthcare providers, responders, service industry. So people are trying to make it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's really hard today. And so that's who applies, and that's one of the criteria that's needed. Families also need to have manageable debt. So we don't give people a house. They buy the house from us. They buy that house at a 0% interest rate, which is super awesome. But they have to pay a mortgage, and they pay it back to Habitat. And Habitat takes that money and invests it into future Habitat homes. That's one of the ways we can do what we do. So it's important that those families are making their mortgage payments. So we need to know that they have manageable debt.
Yeah.
And we have a family services committee that meets every family who applies. And they have to demonstrate a need. And then, of course, we can't build for everyone. So it's based on the greatest need at the time.
Right. Okay. So can you tell us about the process from the beginning until the end of building a house for Habitat Humanity?
So we don't start building until we have a family and we know how many kids they have. So we know how big the house needs to be, how many bedrooms. We're building a starter home, so it's not super fancy, but it's very visually appealing because we want people to feel that they're proud of their home. So there's not a whole lot of bells and whistles, but they get what they need.
Yeah.
It's generally we're building a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, not always on a basement, sometimes on a crawl. Again, depending on the need for bedrooms. It does take about 3 to 4 months, I'm going to say, depending how a board has to approve the family. So depending on when the board is meeting. And then it takes about 12 months to build the house. 8 to 12 months, we could do it faster, but stuff always happens. We're building with volunteers.
Right, of course.
So it takes about 12 months, I would say. And families they're required to have 300 sweat equity hours. So they're helping to build their house right alongside us and the volunteers. There is no down payment, but they need to put in their sweat equity hours.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. So what types of people do you think would most like to volunteer for Habitat for Humanity?
Let's see. I'm thinking about our volunteers right now. They definitely like to be outside. They are super excited about building with their hands. And the people who've come out who've never we don't even require you to have building experience or construction experience. You just have to be willing to learn. Those people have the most fun. Okay. Definitely.
Okay. So are there any other ways that people can volunteer for the organization?
Yeah. So for our affiliate, you can go to our website, NWIhabitat.org, and look for how to help. Click on volunteer, and you can register. When you register, our volunteer coordinator or someone like that person, because we're in between volunteer coordinators, will reach out to you to schedule you. We have to plan our volunteers when they come out. So we have to know how many people are coming out. And the construction manager needs to know that so he can organize the day. So that's really it. We can also, if companies want to sponsor Women Build or Honor Build, I generally am the one to work with them.
Okay.
And we will coordinate the day that they come out to volunteer.
Okay. And then you said that people don't need experience in construction in order to volunteer?
Right.
So they just learn on the spot?
You learn on the spot. Our construction manager has the patience of a saint, and it's a lot of fun. Jeff also has a number of core volunteers.
Okay.
So guys and gals that come out on a regular basis, they help him out to make sure, if somebody has questions, and then they take the time to teach someone who wants to use an air gun, who wants to use a circular saw, and all those kinds of things. Like, we're not going to make people do things they're not comfortable with. Mm-hmm. But everybody works together to teach, so it's a great learning experience. And the nice thing, too, about that is the family also learns a lot about what goes into building their home, and they have a better understanding of how to take care of their home. Yeah. They also get a walkthrough on that. And even beyond the construction part of it, they see perfect strangers coming to help them. And that changes their perspective on their community tremendously. So lots of great things come out of that.
Is there an age limit of who can volunteer for Habitat for Humanity?
On the construction site, they have to be 18 and over. Okay. And we do take some volunteers at the restore, not as many, but they need to be 16 or over.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Beyond building houses, how do you think that Habitat for Humanity benefits the community?
So, as I mentioned, our values and how we view home ownership, safe, affordable home ownership as valuable for the community. It is so because the families are stabilized. They have an opportunity to, and all the things that I said, homework gets done, people get to work on time, all those things, right? So it's great for the employers. It's great for the schools. And beyond that, it's great for the family themselves because that family can start to build a legacy. And I'm talking about equity in their home. That can start to build wealth for them as they're making their payments. And it also teaches the children in that family about home ownership, and it creates a desire in them to have a home in the future. So a lot of families we do work with, this is the first home like that family has owned in their over their generations.
Yeah.
Maybe their parents or grandparents never owned a home, they always rented. And there's a place for rent, definitely, but home ownership is what really builds a community. That builds the family through stabilization, through savings and equity. It creates more economic development in the community because now that family has an affordable mortgage and they can go out and buy dinner, buy groceries, get health care, fix their car, buy stuff to manage their lawns. Like, we're contributing, we all contribute to the economy. Now these families have some disposable, quote unquote, income to spend on those things that are needed. So that's how we see it benefiting the community.
Yeah, I love that. Do the volunteers for Habitat for Humanity also do repairs for existing houses for residents who qualify?
So at this time, we do not do home repairs.
Okay.
However, we are currently building our strategic plan, our action plan, and critical home repair is on that to-do list. It most likely won't be in the next couple of years. It does take some planning and a buildup of reserves to be able to do that, but we are headed in that direction. There are affiliates across the country that do critical home repair, and I have been exploring, conversations with those affiliates to figure out how do you do it, and how, because it could be overwhelming. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of need in Northwest Indiana, and we all know opening up, it could be a can of worms.
Sure.
You start in here, and it's like, oh boy, this actually is wrong. Water damage, but we're trying to figure that out. So hopefully in the next few years, we'll see that.
If someone wanted to explore their options for receiving aid from the organization, how would you suggest they reach out, and what advice do you have for people considering this option?
Mm-hmm. There is, as I mentioned, a tremendous amount of need, and affordable housing is a huge national issue. We are not escaping it here in the region. We get calls and emails and all sorts of contact and communication about how do I apply. So I'm gonna be very direct. There's a lot of competition. Please go to our website and look at what the criteria is. It's pretty basic. It's easy to understand, but you have to be ready for an application. Mm-hmm. And so that is a written application when those come out. And it's not open all the time. Right now, we're not accepting applications.
Right.
We will announce it on our website. So I would say just check out our website. I have, that is all I can say is
keep following you
Keep
guys.
Following the website. Look at the information there about what the homeownership program is. It's pretty scaled down on the website, but at least you will understand what the criteria is.
Mm-hmm. Does Habitat for Humanity have any upcoming service days that you'd like to tell us about?
We build year-round, so 12 months out of the year, every week of the year, and we look for volunteers to come out and help us every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, except for holidays.
Okay.
And when you register through our website online, and that's why we schedule people, because there's limited number of days. And then groups, we try to limit it to 10, to groups of 10, because one, for safety, these are new people. We need to keep an eye on them,
sure, yeah.
And we do provide lunch for our volunteers. The reason we do that is because easier for everybody. We can get more done. We don't have to break down and close up shop and then go out for lunch and then figure out where we're going and then drive back.
Yeah.
And so we provide lunch, and we need to plan for all of those things. So that's why we schedule. But every Thursday, Friday, Saturday of the year.
Okay. And then would you tell us a little bit about the Women Build and the Otter Build?
Yes. So Women Build is initiative that Habitat across the country hold. We all have different variations of it, but essentially it is about women supporting the other women in the community. About 95% of the families that we serve are moms, single moms, and moms face challenges. Single moms face challenges in raising their family. The pay gap is real. Nationally, it was close to 25 cents. Here, it's more like 15 to 20 cents. So this is in no way, shape, or form man-hating in any way. We love men. We want them to be our advocates. Men are welcome to come out for Women Build. But we have to understand that pay gap affects women and how they can provide for their families. Women are pulled in numerous directions: job, family. Maybe they have to take care of mom or grandma or auntie as well. Sometimes they're working 2 jobs. And mortgages tend to be higher for single women because we could be a risk. So these are all just issues we want people to be aware of and advocate for women in the community to say, let's make things a little more fair, a little easier, because it's about those kids and how they grow up. So giving them the best option is what it's about. Now, Honor Build is about serving veterans in our community. And in Lake County, there are over 14,000 veterans who are struggling with housing. And so, again, there's a tremendous need. And there are funds set aside specifically for veterans and housing that we have access to, and that money can be used for veterans, freeing up all the other fundraising for everybody else. And so let's use the funds available for veterans and get them into a safe, affordable home. And it is also an opportunity for other veterans in our community to help each other.
Sure.
Veterans signed up. They signed up for a reason, and they still have that heart, and they still want to help and serve others. And so this is a great way to do that.
Okay, that's awesome. What would you say volunteers should expect upon arrival to their work site?
So when volunteers come out, we have already communicated with them to let them know where they're going and a good idea about how to dress for the day. They don't need to bring anything else except their heart in their hands and be ready to get to work. We let them know where parking, how the parking situation is and all that, because we're building in residential areas, right? Mm-hmm. So they show up. We do a nice registration process, get everybody their cool name tags. It's duct tape. Mm-hmm. And get everybody signed in. And then we talk. We have a nice welcome. We help people understand what it is, the impact that they're having on the community that day, on a family. We talk about what the family's situation is. And then we have a safety talk with our construction manager, and he goes over what their scope of work is for the day. So everybody understands what's coming at them. There's no surprises. They get to meet the core volunteers as well. That'll be there to help them through the day. It is a day, so we start about 8:30. We break there's a break in there somewhere, and then we break for lunch. We get back to work, and we usually wrap up by 3 o'clock. So it is a full day, but that's how we get stuff done.
Right. Okay. So what would you say are some of the things that your organization has accomplished that you are most proud of?
We have what is called the Field of Dreams in a neighborhood in Gary, and on 18th Street and thereabouts. We've got 32 Habitat homes. They were started. The construction started on those homes in 2004, and we are planning to build another 4 homes in the next year or two. And it is a beautiful neighborhood. Everybody knows each other and helps each other out to kind of keep, it's a true neighborhood. And it's what Gary was and what it can be in the future. I'm super proud of that. We're also building a little community of homes in Lake Station, and it's the same thing. All those families are helping each other build their homes, and they have built life. Those relationships will be lifelong. So it's so cool. It's just really cool. I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
I'm going to say one more thing, if I could.
Yeah.
So when the home is done and we have the certificate of occupancy, we have a home dedication ceremony, and that's when families get their key to their home. And this is what keeps me motivated, is when those families are in their home and the kids are like arguing about where their bedroom is and how they're gonna decorate for Christmas, and just everybody gets a chance to talk too, and it's so touching. It is so touching, and I cry every time. I cry every time because I just know how I can put myself in their shoes.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, that is all awesome. And
so we have one of our initiatives is a kind of it's Faith Build initiative, but it's really about connecting with the faith community throughout Lake County. And Kim is, as I had mentioned, that's a new position. So for all the same reasons. So churches can come together and their congregations can spend time together and do, volunteer to build homes and raise funds and help us meet our mission. So I didn't want to leave that part out of it. It's just as important as everything else.
Sure, certainly. Okay, well, if that is it, then we are going to wrap things up.
Okay.
Thank you, Wendy, for coming in today.
Thank you.
It was great to learn about your organization, and I just so appreciate it.
I appreciate it too.
All right, thank you for listening.